to go investigate again tomorrow. I need to go to bed early and rest. Early morning, and I get the worst wake-up call ever. A severe pain threatens to split my head. The mysterious headache from yesterday is back with a vengeance. I meant to go to Diamond's hospital to see Hero and Banshee while it was light out. Spots flash before my eyes. I can't even sit up. I pull the sheets up and wait for it to pass. I'm only just able to move by the time the sun is setting. Thunder rumbles in the distance. Sounds like rain again. Great. I press my fingers to my temple to check. The whirlwind of pain has once again diminished, disappeared without a trace. I sigh. Mashida calls as I'm making coffee in the kitchen. He says he'll come along for tonight's investigation. He must have finally wrapped up his other cases. He mentioned that he dropped by the hospital in between cases to see Hero and Banshee. Seems they went berserk when they awoke and are now restrained. They refuse to eat. Hold on a second, can I get the backlog? Yeah, they misspelled berserk there. Relying on IVs won't work forever. I didn't expect the report to be good, but this is a critical point in the case. Before he hangs up, Mashida utters a warning. Then this is the 11th hour. Mashida doesn't offer a reply. The red lights outside the rain-soaked window are hazy like a wilting flower. It's time to head out. I park the car in the parking lot, as always, and walk over to the streets in the rain. I pass down the familiar road to hotel. The hotel?
遅いぞ。何してやがった？
You're late. What were you doing? A man in a trench coat cuts an imposing figure on the wet street corner glittering in lights. You know damn well time is of the essence right now. Daimo's prepared for the worst too. He's made arrangements to transfer them. Transfer them? Oh. They must be in pretty bad condition then. And I didn't mention this over the phone, but I met someone at Daimo's hospital. I ran into Sho Nagashima. Sho? What was he doing there? Some of his gang hangs out here. Guess we're a hot topic with them. They've seen people in and out of the hotel. Nagashima heard about it and figured they were talking about you. He contacted the fortune teller and, well... So now Sho knows about the case, too. Why didn't she just keep quiet? That old lady hands out business cards to anyone and everyone. It's a real pain. So, did you talk to Sho? Why would I? He cornered me asking for info on the case, but I drove him off. I suddenly feel uneasy. You didn't say anything unnecessary, did you? Of course not. I just had to stay out of grown-up matters. For just a moment, my vision tunnels and a blood vessel in my head throbs. Something wrong? No, I'm fine. I'm sure he doesn't want Sho involved either, but he really should have considered his words more carefully. I hear footsteps coming up behind me. It can't be. Sho? I raise my head with a sudden sense of dread. But it's only Moe Watanabe. Thank goodness, you're here after all. Good thing I came straight here. I got the results you asked me for. I look at her blankly for a moment, but then I remember I asked her to use her connections to investigate the rumors. Right, thanks. There's no time. Give us the short version. Oh, okay. Then I'll only cover the really important parts. I heard something amazing from someone who was there at the time. What, like a hotel employee? No, not like that, jeez. When I say someone who was there, I was to mean one of the high school girls who was up to no good. You talked to one. This is legit, right? Even Mashida's interested. Only the people who use Masquerade really knew what happened there. Hearing from someone involved is best. Yeah, her name's Eiko. The editorial department helped me track her down. She went to a nearby high school and did this part-time job, apparently. And what's really important is what Eiko said her about her classmate Esko. Moe pulls a voice recorder from her bag and hits the play button. Yeah, a friend introduced me to a part-time job. It was whimsical. I mean, I just did it on a whim. Yeah, so we're supposed to meet at that hotel, Masquerade. And there's a system there where someone introduces us to customers. You get a lot of money from it, so everyone was dying to get hired. One day there was like an incident? Someone at school found out about the job. Some goody two-shoes class rep, Esco, said she was going to tell her teacher at Mura. Everyone freaked and apologized to her saying they'd stop, but she wouldn't listen. If our parents found out, it'd be the worst thing ever. We begged, but she didn't budge. In the end, she left class saying she was going to go to the police with Enmura. We were totally freaking out, so I went to the hotel that night. I mean, at that point, there was no harm in going, you know? But then, she was there. Esco was standing in front of the Masquerade in the drizzling rain, in a red raincoat. She said she was going to the police, so who knows why she was at the hotel. But it made us all jumpy and on edge every day after that. Except nothing ever happened. Soon after that, Masquerade shut down. I guess they uncovered something. Huh? The job. Yeah, I completely quit after that. That's Eiko's testimony, just the important parts, though. Moe got a fascinating first-hand account. The rumors of Red Riding Hood and what was written in the guest books we found in the hotel. All the pieces are in that girl's confession. So what ended up happening to Esco? I don't know exactly, but apparently she stopped coming to school. According to Eiko, she just suddenly stopped showing up. Machina snorts. It's too perfect. She was probably just being overly dramatic. Especially that part about the red raincoat. Most people use an umbrella when it's raining. That's true. Machina's right. It's possible that the raincoat was a sign for whoever she was waiting for, but hardly anyone comes down the street. It doesn't really fit. Is that all you have to tell us? Then hurry up and go home. So I really can't come with you? I worked really hard, you know? Apparently Moe really wants to come along. I do feel bad. She worked and got us that info just so she could investigate with us. But... sorry, but you shouldn't be here. There have already been 2 victims. We can't get you wrapped up in this too. Okay, I understand. Moe nods. I guess she's already over it. You better tell me all about it later, and be careful. She sounds worried about me. She disappears around the street corner. A siren echoes on the wind, an unnatural howl in the distance. I look up at Masquerade looming before us. What in the hell happened inside that hunk of concrete? There's always a tragic cause to the birth of a spirit. Red Riding Hood must be the same. But I can't watch my friends die. I slowly step forward, trying to escape from the unease that's threatening to engulf me. It's not right for the dead to meddle with the living. Machina mutters beside me. Is that a personal creed? Nah, just what I think. Machina clicks his tongue. So now we have Eiko's testimony. Okay, Machina, when we go in here, I need you to keep your clothes on. Hey. As I step into the lobby, Machina stops in front of me. What's wrong? What a fantastic job you've done here. What are you talking about? Look. What? The lobby looks completely different. The room is covered in white. No, it wasn't like this yesterday. Thought so. These are... webs? Machina touches one of the floating threads. Looks like she's up the ante. Bring it. Time to make our appointment with our lady friend. Just then, the groan of the elevator moving echoes. Did the elevator just come back to the first floor? That'd mean someone's already here. Did you see which floor it came from? No, I wasn't looking. Though I feel like it took a while between when I heard the noise and its arrival. I'm betting it's one of the upper floors. Maybe the 4th or 5th. Yesterday we got the elevator working and managed to get to the 4th floor. But because of what happened to Banshee, we weren't able to investigate any higher. Okay, let's start on the 4th floor. Large spiderwebs hang from the ceiling and walls. I don't think a normal spider would have been able to create a web this big in a single night. It's almost like what I experienced at H Elementary is happening all over again. It's a display case holding various products. A painting is clearly out of place among them. It's a picture of a masked woman wearing a wedding gown. There are pictures of the guest rooms on the wall. So, real quick... Oh, yeah, we still have them. Okay, we're good. It's a chest with a vase on top. It's made out of wood, but it isn't broken. Whatever's inside is probably still intact. I pull open the drawer and find a notebook. Guest book 401. What's that? A guest book provided by the hotel. Guests write about their experiences in it. I glance through the pages. This guest book's entries are clearly different from all the other ones. It covers a number of horrifying topics such as devil worship and different kinds of torture. Every page is crammed with stuff like that. It's impossible to tell which ones are delusions and which ones actually took place. The only thing I can say for sure is that it's surgery with a twisted, single-minded appetite. I silently hand over the guest book. Mashita skims through it, then smirks. That's quite the hobby. The handwriting differs by page. This was written by several guests. I find that hard to believe. I sincerely doubt there are so many people in the world who have such a unique hobby. They're like moths drawn to a flame. You wouldn't even know to look at them. The pieces are finally coming together. Seems this hotel offered a special service for its perverted guests. You mean the kind of stuff written in that guest book? Yeah, the kids working that part-time job were probably part of it too. Guaranteed their safety and complete confidentiality, of course. After all, the one who sold his soul was probably most nervous about that. Still, these people have quite the imagination. Mashita mutters sarcastically as he casually leaves through the pages. Then he stops. Hey, this phrase, do you know what it means? The phrase Mashita's pointing to is Jorah Gumo's punishment. So, that Gumo is the word for spider, I believe. Jorah Gumo, huh? It's a spider monster from Japanese folklore that can shapeshift into a beautiful woman. So you do know about it. Thanks so much for the info dump. I ignore the hint of sarcasm in his voice and read the rest of the page. Jorah Gumo's punishment is a recreation of a certain urban legend. You capture the largest spider you can find. A wild one would be best. Sharpen the sacrifice's senses with drugs and use a mouth speculum to keep their mouth open. Then throw the spider into their mouth. If they manage to swallow it, they're innocent. If they don't, or the spider escapes, they're guilty. It's a witch hunt trial meant to judge truth from lie. If I get a sacrifice that needs punishing, I'd like to try it out immediately. It can't be that's what's written here was actually... Did someone actually do this? Who knows? Hey, calm down, take a deep breath. Yeah, it's okay, I'm calm. I doubt Mashita believes me. It's obvious that I'm totally rattled. Don't forget, Light. We can't die here. Of course, I know that. I try to keep my reply as steady as possible, but my hands keep shaking as I put the guest book in my bag. So, neat little trivia thing for you if you didn't know. 4 is the number, the unlucky number in Japanese, means death and everything. So, we're on the 4th floor. Just saying. A large air conditioning unit attached to the ceiling. It's stained, but would likely work with electricity. And they misspelled likely. I check behind the wire door. There's a folding table and chairs stored away. They're too big to carry around. Some kind of slime is stuck to the mirrors, and my reflection is hard to see. It's a trash can with a lid. The plastic trash can has a number of cracks in it. Maybe it was kicked by guests or something. I turn it upside down and shake it. A wad of paper falls out. So we get a talisman. There are brand new spider webs. Was this web built last night? Okay, now even perfectly normal spider webs are starting to look eerie. It's for you, Machina. I hear a faint laugh. I don't hear anything more coming from it. Well, at least it wasn't a full-fledged prank call. It feels like the mask is staring at me. I take it out to examine it, but it's just a mask. It still feels like it's staring at me, though. So now we're being judged by the masks. How the mighty have fallen. It's a horribly stained sink. The stains look like they might have come from old blood. I really don't want to do this, but I still need to check it out. I shut my eyes and stick my fingers down the drain. I touch something hard. Something cylindrical is stuck down there. Sadly, my fingers don't seem to be able to reach it. Something in there? It's often a prime location to hide incriminating objects. It's likely an important piece of evidence. We should get it. There's dark red water in the bathtub. My nose rebels at the stench of iron. So do we really have anything to show for our exploration here? Huh? Masquerade wife. It's a picture of a masked girl running down a trail. Hey, we're actually on the 5th. I open the door and check the switchboard, but nothing looks broken at first glance. Masquerade wife. It's a picture of a masked wife holding hands with a child. The door to room 502 is locked. Hey, shine the light inside. A body has finally turned up. Let's check it out. Right. Well, if you're gonna be that way, we're not gonna take you down. You can hang up there till you calm down. There's a decorative coffin. I doubt it's anything more than a fake prop, but it looks well made. Its placement makes it look even more real than an actual one. I open the lid of the coffin. I find a book among the junk inside. Monster Encyclopedia. It's a book about different monsters from around Japan and their associated legends. Machida flips through the book. So this spider monster originally killed people by drowning them in water. Yeah, that sounds right. I remember reading a legend like that in one of the books piled on my desk at the Kujo mansion. It usually targets woodcutters or hunters, but they're always saved at the last minute. Every region has a story like that. Saved? How? They use a tree stump. The spider takes it instead. Then the protagonist escapes. I don't get it at all. There's no point in complaining about folklore. In any case, this will make for a good reference. Take it with you. There's a skeleton left hanging in the restraints. Spiderwebs wrap around its entire body, making it look fake at first glance, but when I look closer, it does appear to be, well, an actual human corpse. When I touch it, something flakes off. It looks like traces of dried skin. The corpse is almost a complete skeleton. Small stature, but based on the thickness of the bones, it's likely an adult male. Considering how dried out it is, I'd say it's been here for at least a year. The problem is the cause of death. Mashida meticulously searches the corpse, then finally shakes his head. I just can't tell. Was he strangled by spiderwebs? Quit joking around. A joke, huh? It'd be great if that's all it was. Still, this skeleton... He must have been in pain when he died. His face is all twisted. If it was an adult male, then he was likely a guest here. No matter how hard I try to sympathize, I just can't. Hey, look at this. Mashida suddenly tosses something at me. I found it earlier. Belonged to this guy. Still has some fuel left. Keep it in your bag or something. Got cheap lighter. I open the lid of the trash can to look inside. There's a large clump of hair inside, as well as paper waste. Resisting the urge to scream, I securely close the lid and chuck the trash back where it was. There's a storage cabinet beneath the sink. The door is covered with mold. Bet it's because of the humidity. I open the door and rummage around inside. Bent hanger, so we can use that on the drain. Where's a plumber when you need him? Mario! Time for you to work the first time I've ever seen you in your life. So we actually can't go up to the 6th floor, worth pointing out. Now, I don't remember which one... I think it's this one. Has the, thing in the sink. You know what? An idea hits me and I take out the bent hanger. I should be able to bend this into any shape I want. I bend it into one straight wire so it can fit down the drain. I stick it in the pipe and move it up and down. I hear the sound of dirty water being dislodged and hit something hard. Key to room 502. On the key is a tag that says Deluxe Suite. That'll come in handy. Good thing it wasn't washed down the drain. Yeah. There are sticky white threads wrapped around this key, too. Seems like they stopped it from falling all the way down the pipe. So now we need to go upstairs. There's a broken wooden horse. Looks like it was treated pretty roughly. The horse is lying outside. I go to lift up the wooden horse. When I do, I notice something catch the light. I pick it up and discover it's a metal tool. It's a mouth speculum. It's usually used for medical purposes, but some maniacs use them for other things. Huh. Just as I'm replying to Mashida, a white light flashes before my eyes and I black out. I hear someone sobbing. My eyes should be open, but everything is pitch black. I shake my head desperately and try to look around. This is the censored scene in the game, in case you didn't know. In the Japanese version, you can actually see the finer details of her face here being held open by the speculum. In the other regions, it's just this silhouette. A horrible image flows into my mind. What is this? A young girl is blindfolded and restrained. Her mouth is being forced open with that tool. Her breathing is ragged. She must have been given a drug of some kind. Let us commence the judgment. A man speaks theatrically behind me. The court has decided to give the accused a fair trial and will judge her crimes. The trial will now begin. I shall put this spider in the accused's mouth. If it crawls out, she is guilty. If she can swallow it, she is innocent. Upon hearing that, the girl starts jerking around frantically, her movements haphazard. Help me, sir. Help me. She desperately cries for help. Her words are garbled from fear of the drug. I hear men jeering. Then a man releases a giant spider into the girl's mouth. Ah! Hey, get a hold of yourself. Light, can you see me? The spider. Get it. Idiot, calm down. With a slug to the jaw, I finally return to my senses. That's right, I'm in a room at the masquerade. Then the vision I just saw. What did I just see? I went somewhere. You haven't gone anywhere. You just fell on the floor and started writhing. I feel like I've woken from a long dream. I can't believe that was a hallucination. You finally calmed down? Yeah, I'm fine now. I wipe sweat off my forehead and swallow. That girl who was restrained, was that Esco? If it's so, then... was she unable to go to the police because she was caught by people here? There's a decorative coffin. I doubt it's anything more than a fake prop, but it looks well made. Its placement makes it look even more real than an actual one. I open the lid of the coffin. I find a book among the junk inside. Demon Encyclopedia. The book has pictures of various demons and demonic crests and lists their characteristics. I guess the guests here were interested in stuff like that. So I'm gonna open my bag. Like, they gave you more information about the monster one, but not the demon one. There's a shelf stuck to the wall. It's lined with hairdressing products, cologne and lotion. Some of the bottles still have a bit of liquid left, but most are empty. I check through all the bottles on the shelf. Got bath salts, insect repelling cream. Looks like Mario finally fixed that toilet. The tub is covered in dents and scratches. Too many for it to be natural wear. Going by the appearance of the room, horrible things probably happened in here too. I hear footsteps as I step into the hallway. I turn in the direction of the noise to see. Sho Nakashima is standing there. Mashita said he ran into him in the hospital, but... I can't believe you came. Sho, what's the matter? I take a step towards him, but Mashita stops me. Wait, something's not right. I look closely at Sho's face. No, it couldn't be. His face is unnaturally stiff. Suddenly he begins yelling angrily. I was looking for you this whole time. I'm going to kill you. He raises a metal bat he was hiding and moves in to attack. Get back, Light. Mashita yells, urging me to escape. But we're in a hallway with closed walls. What should I do? So he's going to swing from our left to our right. To minimize damage, you'd want to try to catch him at the left side. And there goes the recording. dodge to the left. Hey, you're not getting away. Sho's bat alters course in a flash and heads straight for me. But the tip of the bat hits the wall and narrowly misses me. He straightens only to swing his bat again. Shit. I have my hands full just trying to get away. There's no way I'll be able to restrain him. But if Sho's like Hero and he is infected with the same mysterious poison, we have to restrain him or his life's in danger. I can't do this alone. What do I do? Die. Sho's deranged eyes burn a hole in me. Well, if he wants me... Over here, ugly. If my chances are thin no matter what I do, then my only chance is to draw his attention. Huh? Sho hesitates for a moment, confused. But a second later... You dumb idiot! You don't know when to give up, old man! The metal bat flashes above his head. Then... You're the idiot. Mashida suddenly appears next to him and throws a direct punch at his face. Sho tumbles to the ground. As he falls, his bat flies through the air and... Unluckily for me, it collides into the side of my head and I collapse with a pitiful yelp. Dumbass. Cursing, Mashida quickly grabs Sho's arm and completely restrains him. As Mashida puts his weight on him, Sho groans painfully. Finally, he faints. Hey, Light, you okay? Yeah, it just grazed me. I sit up and gently shake my head back and forth. Thankfully, everything seems fine. Then give me a hand. We need to carry him out of here. He's probably like the others now. We'd better hurry. To think Sho would end up as the third victim. I managed to make myself stand, but my spirits have dropped down to my feet. It's still sprinkling outside. We drag Sho out of the hotel. Finally, we have a chance to catch our breaths. We'll call off the investigation for today. Yeah. Banshee and Hero flash before my eyes, but Sho's safety should come first. Let's go ahead and bring him to the hospital. I'll go get the car. Good idea. Yours is better for moving sick people around. I take out the car key and stand up, but just as I do... A piercing pain runs through the side of my head and I fall back to my knees. Light? It's just a headache. I thought it had gone away, so why... You got hit right where it hurts, huh? Then just rest there. But Sho... You're injured too, so take it easy. I'll take Nagashima in my car. You wait here until I get back, got it? I'll come straight back after I drop him off. Sorry. Sho's in your hands now. Mashida collects Sho and disappears. The soft pitter-patter of rain permeates the area. The sound of the rain seems to make this place even quieter somehow. Then I notice something. The noises aren't the only thing that's vanished. The pain is gone. The intense headache has faded, like it never was. This happened to me twice before. Hold on. Now I'm suspicious. I think back on the times when I had a headache. The first is when I went inside Masquerade with Daimon and Banshee. Back then, I'm pretty sure. I wanted to keep everyone together, but then I had a headache and Banshee up and disappeared. My next headache came the following morning. I was trying to go see Hero and Banshee. I keep calling him Banshee, damn it. But in the end, I was unable to. Then, just now, I was going to the hospital with Sho and Mashida. I gaze at the entrance to Masquerade. You're the only one I want to see, sir. That's what Red Iron said. get it. You. I stare at the hotel as if I can see through doors. I feel like I can see a red figure inside. One rainy night, a girl stood there wearing a red raincoat. You're still waiting, even now, for the one you respect so much. That headache always attacked when I was trying to stick with other people. If I stop trying and stay by myself like I am now, then it'll vanish like it was never there. I get it. Hero, Banshee, and now Show. I've gotten my friends all caught up in this. That's right. It's all my fault again. I'll come alone. So, do what you will. I go back inside Masquerade.
Sensei.
Sir. A voice calls from the darkness, as if it was waiting for me. What are you telling me to do?
赤い糸見る
You see, the red thread of fate, right? The top floor, in the room of masks. The top floor. The 6th floor was listed on the guide, but it was impossible to reach. I'll be waiting. Red Riding Hood's figure melts silently into the elevator. As she does, the elevator's floor display begins blinking on and off erratically. The combination. You know it, don't you, sir? Her voice reverberates throughout the elevator. So she's telling me to go to her. But this combination, what in the world could that be? So if you want to know what it is, it's a display case holding various products. A painting is clearly out of place among them. So this is her wedding. She had the kid on like the 5th floor. I think it was the kid with her on the 5th floor. And then the other ones depict the other stages of life, so you have to go through here and figure them out in order. I'll be back. The spirit vanished into the elevator. I must be able to use the elevator to get to the top floor then. And the floor display began to blink on and off erratically. Is that some kind of hint? And that word she used, combination. I stare at the elevator buttons. Maybe I'm supposed to push these in a certain combination. If I press the floor buttons in a certain order, I might be able to get to the 6th floor. But what's the order? I've got no idea. I've got to think. There has to have been a clue somewhere inside Masquerade. So, 4, 2, 1, 5, 3. And the only reason we know that has a merit is thanks to Banshee, once again. Him in this damn elevator. The elevator door opens and a musty stench greets me. But that's not all. The smell is blood.
Sensei.
Sir. Red Riding Hood's voice drifts on the wind. I've been waiting for you. No, I doubt my words will reach her, but I feel like I have to at least say it. I'm not the one you respect. I'm not the one you're waiting for. Liar. You always lie. I'm not lying. I'm really not. Glad I turned down my volume earlier. A scream splits the night. It's the same one I heard during the spider torture. Stop. Stop this. This won't accomplish anything. That's why, this time, I'm going to test you.
教えて。
Tell me the truth. Countless spiders fly out of the darkness and start crawling all over my body. The swarm of spiders keeps coming. So we might kill ourselves if we do the insecticide. Let's use this. We have 5 of them after all. Shit. I take the massager out of my bag, hold it against my body, and hit the switch. This worked before. The spiders start acting strangely. They all scramble away. Red Riding Hood lets out a gusty sigh. Glittering white threads fly through the air from her mouth. She's trying to use her spider silk. Can we shove this in her mouth? I hold the horse head over mine as a protection. Strangely enough, the threads seem drawn to it and only wrap around the horse head. Sir, who's in the wrong? I only did what was right. That's well beyond my pay grade. Let the lawyers decide that. Red Riding Hood is staring at me. Sir, come with me. The only thing that matters is your life. How do you know a person's worth? Shut up, shut up, shut up! Red Riding Hood screams again. Then her banding eyes glare at me. Sir, how do I look to you? One paper bag is not enough. What do you like about me? Oh. Usually this goes over well with women. Hey, we made it. Thank you, sir. Let's... Red Riding Hood's figure wavers, then... smashes through the window and off into the night. So she wasn't exorcised. She's still out there. Did she just jump? The bustling city can be heard out the window. I wipe my sweaty brow with my shirt sleeve. Something touches my cheek. Something's floating in the darkness. A thread. As I follow it with my eyes, I realize that it's wrapped around my wrist. Whoa. Something yanks me towards the window. I brace my legs and try to resist, but all in vain. I'm thrown out into the night sky. I scream as I plummet. No, I should be rushing towards the ground. Just as I give up all hope, a strong jolt makes me look up. A man struggles to hold onto my arm, his teeth gritting with effort.
このバカ野郎が!
You stupid idiot! Mashida. Shut up and give me your other arm. Hurry up, grab onto me. Right. He desperately tries to pull me up, and after what feels like an eternity of struggling, I make it over the ledge and tumble safely back inside the hotel. The only sound that can be heard is our gasp for breath as we sit in the darkness. Why did you ignore my orders? Mashida spits words out between wheezes. Sorry. This isn't the time to be making excuses. I might be better off shutting up. Idiot. Try putting yourself in my shoes. That is not an excuse to take off your clothes, Mashida. Is she gone? I think so. The window. I'm still trembling as I point to the broken window. She threw herself out of it. She might have been trying to take me with her. No, not you. That Sir person. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Can you walk? Let's go. Mashida slowly stands and looks at me. Nicely done. That wasn't bad work for an amateur like you. It stopped raining. The cool wind on my cheek hints at autumn. I'm going to drop by and see Daimon. I'd like to see how the others are doing. Yeah. What? Hand me the car key. No, I can drive. Have you completely gone mad? Look at your hands. I glanced down at them, only to suddenly realize they're still shaking. They're still attached? You just faced down a spirit. You can't drive in that condition. The choice made for me, I take the key out of my pocket and toss it to Mashida. The corner parking lot. Right. You rest here. His figure melts in the darkness. As I watch him go, I notice something down on the wet asphalt. It's... a dead spider. It lay there, legs all curled up, almost as if it was desperately trying to hold on to something. Are you satisfied now? Then let's go home. I gently pick the spider up. I wrap it in my handkerchief and put it in my pocket. The car ride back is a blur. I sat and let Mashida's voice wash over me like in the background radio noise. I remember wondering if Red Riding might have stolen a part of my soul. Before the investigation today, Moe tipped us off on that testimony, remember? That helped me connect the dots. I realized a teacher was wrapped up in the case. A teacher from a school near the hotel was arrested for breaking the law. That's... what does that have to do with anything? There was an odd part in Aiko's testimony. They were scared they'd be reported, but nothing ever happened. In other words, Asuko never went to the police after tattling to the teacher. Or maybe more. She couldn't go. I frown as I try to put the pieces together. I think I'm too spaced out as it's not making sense. You'd never make it as a detective. Can't he just drop that? I don't plan on becoming one anyway. There's only one possible answer. This Sir person Asuko trusted so deeply was one of Masquerade's customers. What? I feel like I've been hit upside the head, up the side of the head, and now with a pillow, more like a lead pipe. The one she sought salvation from ended up being a criminal. The definition of irony. Mashita glances out the window and chuckles dryly. The bitter sound fits both our moods. It was the teacher Enmura, the one mentioned in Eiko's testimony. I saw a photo of him. He was thin, tall, the type popular with students. Well, I suppose. He glances back at me through the mirror. You might say he wasn't too unlike you. Mashita suddenly tosses a file at me. Those are the research results. Look them over if you want to know more. Results. I flipped through the thick bundle of paper. They're a set of very well-organized documents. It would have taken a lot of time to gather this amount of information. Then it hits me. Wait a second. Mashita just said that he connected the dots with the help of Moe's testimony, which means he knew all of this before we started our investigation tonight. You knew everything. I just said I put it all together when I heard the testimony, but I decided not to tell you just in case. Why? If I had known, I could have... What would you have done? His tone turns mocking as he laughs. You would have just sympathized too much and let down your guard. You should be grateful I didn't. Mashita leaves me with the research file and heads to Daimo's hospital. Now that I'm alone, I can't keep my 3 hospitalized friends out of my mind. But there's nothing I can do for them right now. I've done everything I can. I bolster myself with that information. I spread Mashita's documents out on the table. I'm exhausted, but I feel like I need to go through them today. Who in the world was Red Riding Hood? If Mashita was right, the truth should be right in front of me. So now we have Mashita's report. I faced Red Riding on the 6th floor where she had waited for me. I managed to drive her back, but she nearly takes me with her, until Mashita saves me at the last second. He's furious with me for disobeying his orders. I'm given his research file in the hotel. This is what it says. Esko tallied to her homeroom teacher Enmura about the job is what started it all. Enmura proposed to Esko that they gather evidence first, and they arranged to meet in Masquerade that night. But the only thing waiting for Esko there was utter betrayal by the teacher she was in love with. It turned out that Enmura himself was one of Masquerade's customers. No one knows exactly what happened to Esko. She was found wandering the streets in her red raincoat and immediately admitted to a facility. Unfortunately, her mental state was far too gone already, and she committed suicide by throwing herself from a 6th floor window of the hospital. The night she died was cold and rainy, just like today. The report has info on Enmura as well. When he was arrested for other illegal activities, he ended up testifying about Masquerade as well. Having your partner wear all red was code that you were planning to use the deluxe suite at the hotel. That could be the reason Esko wore the red raincoat that night. Not long after the trial, Enmura apparently hung himself in jail. So a happy ending for everyone. And so the case surrounding Masquerade quietly comes to a close, leaving an invisible scar on that dark street. The lives lost there will never return, and neither will their trampled dignity. The only thing that saves that disaster is that my friends survived. Hiro, Banshee, and Sho all regained consciousness after that. They got out of it with no lasting symptoms and had recovered enough to go back to their lives. Daimon concluded that the affliction inhibited the soul, very much like the mark. In that case, maybe Red Riding Hood was finally released from that horrible nightmare. And there's another typo with released. Just like the spirits that gave people the mark. If anything good came about because of this case, then that would be it. A week later.
邪魔するぞ。
I'm coming in. Mashita suddenly shows up on my doorstep. Before I even open my mouth, he pulls out an envelope and tosses it on the table. I'm here to deliver this. It's your reward. Take it and get out of here. I didn't do it because I wanted a reward. How should I know? The client asked me to do this, that's all. I did my job and handed it over. The rest is in your hands. Damn, what a pain. Machina turns and curses under his breath, but I can still hear everything he says. That's all you came for? No, there's one other thing. I learned something from this past case. And what's that? Something about you. You're suited for this work after all. That again? Sorry, but I'm done. No more. Just hear me out. There have been more mysterious cases like masquerades popping up lately. I thought it might be Mark-related, but it seems like I was wrong. He stops for a moment and mutters. Hyaki Yagyo, a monster's parade. Have you heard anything about it? Hyaki Yagyo? Yeah, sure, in ghost stories. But he's clearly asking about something that's happening in the real world. No, I haven't. That's so. I figured you, of all people. Forget it. First he asks me, then he tells me to forget it. He only cares about his own bottom line. Machina glances briefly at the sofa in the corner of the room. Might have known something. So you want my help? The old lady, Yasuoka, seems to think you could do some good. I do too. That's all I wanted to say. No, wait. I have one last bit of advice. Quit doing stuff like that. Like what? You picked up that dead spider, didn't you? You saw. Just out of the corner of my eye. That's why darkness follows you. Your ancestors probably had pity on her too. The living and the dead cannot coexist. If you try to accept their feelings, you'll just end up getting pulled in. I'll keep that in mind. Machina just snorts derisively like usual.
せいぜいよく考えろ。望まなくてもいずれその時が来る。
Give it some thought. Even if you don't want it, the time may come one day. He leaves, closing the door behind him. That marks the end of the case, and the end of one chapter in my story. But someday in the future, I can't help but think, that door will be thrown open again. And that's the end of Deathmark. The gallery has been unlocked. So we'll drop a save right here. Go right here. I doubt these take up that much space anyway. Okay, so I'm going to splice this in at the end. Overall, I knew about the 6th chapter and everything, but the thing I wanted to talk about here is I'm still pretty satisfied with the game. I'm not too happy about the price point, but like I thought, it's probably because that's where the, like, there's not that much demand for it, so they had to kind of increase the price to make a profit on there. So I was trying to see if we got any pictures of Hanahiko earlier, because if you remember, he stole Moe's clothes. But we don't actually get any good views, and I think this might be after he already nicked them. So as for what I'm kind of hoping for the sequel, voice acting might be nice, although since this is so niche, I'm not so sure that's a possibility. A little bit better proofreading would definitely be nice, that we could not get distracted every once in a while about that. I don't remember these two. Is that actually in there? I don't know if those are bad ends or not. But otherwise, a couple touch-ups to the display here and there, just make it a little bit more interactive would be nice. Overall, with the way this last chapter played out, I get the feeling that they might be going like a Phoenix Wright vibe, where we'll be interacting with these characters in the sequel. Not necessarily the spirits, but like Sho and Moe and Mashida and so on. Overall, I don't think that would be too much of a problem. It'd it'd be pretty unique in terms of horror games for sure, so... A long-awaited dinner. So what's actually kind of interesting is you don't get to see Mary's thing advance because you get to see the... I'll show you in a second, that one. But, that's the unknown soldier. Yeah, Hero just couldn't keep her clothes on, could she? Then once again, these are the censored ones. Overall, it's not too bad. I don't know why they did that. Maybe it was a European thing, because it's quite possible to try to profit off this. They did one region, or one cart for all the regions. Would not really surprise me. But anyway, here we have some stuff I don't know if this actually differs from the title card. It's just considered concept art. For Shimio, that's also... Oh, 1 second. Let me go back to the classroom. So if I push to the side... Oh, no, never mind. False alarm. For the shrine, this one was not used. We never got to see the rock cleaved or anything like this. But this is the title. That one was used for Miss Zoo's title card, I believe. I don't know, that's supposed to be the Kanon soldier in the back, or what exactly? It's just something red and vague. This is really similar to its title card, because I don't think that red thing was there. Hanahiko... I think that's a little bit different from his, too. Let's see. Yeah, the red thing isn't there. If we go all the way back to page 1 for Hanahiko, or page 2, I mean, I guess that is the same. I don't know if this one was used or not. Yeah, I don't recall this one anywhere. So they might have intended for another ghost in the game. We would have paid another visit to the forest, or there would have been like a mini-boss of sorts there, perhaps. Annihilation artwork. This might be a game over screen or a bad ending. You can see all your allies kind of collapsed around you. You have Moe in the top left corner. Underneath her is Sho, then Suzu. Then I think that's supposed to be Mashida. And the top... Can't tell who that is. And then this is the one that kind of drove me a little crazy because it was the box art as well as what you see when you're looking at this from the home screen. And then this is the alternate art. This one, let me pull out my box real quick. Yeah, this is the steelbook case. Is this steel? No, it's cardboard. So yeah, she's on the front and then Hanayome is on the back of it. So, that's pretty much everything that's to be seen here. Like I said, there is a sequel that's currently in development. I don't know if it's quite done yet, or if it's close to being finished. If it gets translated and brought over, I'll look into covering it, but I can't make any definite promises, because we don't know what form it'll come, or how expensive it'll be. But anyway, guys, that is Deathmark for you. So, I don't have anything else to say. If I can think of anything, it'll be in the description, but otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Okay, guys, one last addition to the Deathmark video. There is no video being recorded here. I don't know if I'm going to splice anything in there. I'm just going to do this audio with a black screen. But in the art book, they actually do explain Mary's story, and since some of you guys may not actually have the art book, I don't know if it's included in the digital version, if you can just view it somewhere, I'll go ahead and read this to you guys. During the Tengyo period, 938 to 947 AD, the head of a general who died in battle was put on display in the capital. But one horrible day, the head suddenly came alive, flew east into the Kanto region, and plummeted into the Toshima district in the Musashi province, effectively cursing the heart of modern-day Tokyo. Some say the head fell before it reached its final destination. Instead, it landed on the western edge of current Tokyo in a place called K Village in the Tama district. The village was heavily cursed with a terrible plague, vengeful ghosts, and other disasters. The local Shinto priests successfully suppressed all of it, but the curse strengthened every time a person's heart ran wild, until finally, after 100 years, the dead walked upon the earth on a night of pandemonium. It spread from K Village to the surrounding areas, threatening the eastern edge of Musashi Province. In the Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, this matter weighed heavily on the one controlling the Kanto region, so he mobilized the Shinto priests to suppress the situation. They struggled mightily and fought hard, but in the end, only one option came to light. It was suggested that if the power of Japan's gods could not restrain the curse, then perhaps it could be fought with the power of some other land's gods. Many mediums from foreign countries were gathered, but the situation was still unable to be contained. In the midst of this chaos, a young girl blessed with divine powers appeared. Her name was never recorded, but it was said she drifted in from the west, her beauty beyond compare, with white hair and blue eyes. The shogunate and priests spoke with the gathered mediums, and it was decided that their best course of action would be to sacrifice this girl. The sacrifice ritual was a success, and nearly all the supernatural events afflicting the Musashi province ceased. Half a century later, a strange paranormal occurrence began happening in K Village, with people gaining an odd scar on their bodies, only to suddenly die for inexplicable reasons. Those who feared that this could be the revival of the age-old curse abducted people gifted with spiritual powers from all over, and managed to stop it again with a human sacrifice. After that, the ritual was performed every 50 years. People with high spiritual power were gathered in K Village and made to live there, always under the threat of being the next potential human sacrifice. As time passed and the modern age approached, the sacrifice ritual was altered. Now an elaborate living doll was created for the sacrifice and infused with spiritual power. One of the dolls created was made in a Western workshop and modeled after the original sacrificial victim. It was highly prized as it contained enough power to seal the curse within itself, something none of the other dolls could do. The families that performed the rituals were the ones who controlled the dolls, and the practice was passed down to the next head of the household. But those who had knowledge of all this died in the recent World War, with the notes detailing the legend destroyed in a fire. The history of the dolls and the customs surrounding them were all lost, leaving only the dolls themselves. More time passed, and now we finally reached the present day of 1990-something. The ancient K Village is now known as H City, and a well-known family resides there in a mansion. It is there a doll in the shape of a beautiful young lady awakens along with an ancient curse, and the sinister grudges of the untold sacrificial victims. Shortly thereafter, rumors pop up all over the city about a mark of death. So, continuing on to the director's notes. Time period. The old cursed history fades into the past, and the story starts in 1990-something. It's 1990X, in case you're wondering, since they don't give a specific number. At first, I didn't want to make it so removed from the present day, but the time period made it easier to include spirits and urban legends. It was a time when no one knew the Loch Ness Monster was fake, and the internet wasn't available. Back then, when unexplained, weird, or scary things happened in the neighborhood, the only way to hear about it was through the news or word of mouth. That's why the setting is in the 90s. When IT hardly existed, cell phones were just in their early stages, and the net was only a cluster of bulletin boards and only some subset of PC users accessed. It was a time of dreams, when the turn of the century was still in the future, and Nostradamus' prophecy of the great king of Anglemois had yet to come. I'm not familiar with that, so I can't explain it. Setting. The game is set in H City, which is of course based on Hachioji City in western Tokyo, where our company experience is located. But to make it more supernatural, we created a large haunted forest based off of Aokigahara's Suicide Forest, which is much further west. Well, to be honest, the Tama region has plenty of haunted areas as it is. I remember, I think 5 years back, there was a plan to make a DRPG set in Hachioji, a dungeon RPG, I believe. And I recall talking about having the main character ride the Chuo line past the last stop of Spectral Hachioji to arrive in Sword City Iscario, so he could become an adventurer. I don't know if that's a reference to anything. Maybe Hachioji was fated to be used once again in the form of H City. Now the protagonist and mark bearer section. The original idea was to make it a horror RPG instead of an adventure game, but regardless, it was always going to be a horror game, so naturally we set it in a mansion. But after we decided the story would have the protagonist returning home after losing his memories, we switched it to more of an adventure game. I remember my staff getting angry because they thought Combining an amnesiac protagonist and a shady Western mansion was too fantastical, and creating a scary atmosphere for a horror adventure game would be too difficult. Plus, some of the RPG elements remain in the fact that the supporting characters all had very specific roles, so to ground it more in reality, we eventually ended up with more characters than we have now. Or we ended up with the characters we have now. So, for better or worse, thanks to all the scrapped characters, the current cast ended up with extremely unique personalities. My personal favorite is Ada. Spookiness of the supernatural. We had to make the players and ourselves feel scared, so I wondered every day about why everyone finds ghosts and supernatural events so terrifying. So I tried tapping into my irrational imagination. The very existence of ghosts is already irrational with no scientific basis, but that's not what's important. The dead kill the living indiscriminately, which means their hatred or revenge isn't targeted to one specific person. Anyone who runs into a spirit would end up killed. That is so terrifying to me that I don't even want to think about it. But those kinds of rational deaths do actually happen. Even if the killer dies, the hatred and sadness don't dissipate. There's a haunted house kind of place where ghosts of that sort turn into vengeful spirits through the power of divine wrath. The premise of the game is to have the player accompany us around each city pretending to be part of a horror story. But why do we do it? We want everyone to use the spirits and stories we've created as stepping stones to expand their imaginations. All of us are different, but everyone can use their imaginations to grasp that unexpected answer and relate to all the insane, contained resentment. I hope that feeling slowly boils into terror. Though I do have to say I'm disappointed that the setting isn't more ordinary and relatable, so I'll try to focus on that more next time. I don't know if that next time is supposed to be the sequel or if it's going to just be the next game. So, they actually do have a little poster here for the sequel. It's called NG No Good. You have a picture of some sort of woman in some sort of either scraggly veil or her hair is covering her face like Sadako. You have something that's stitched together kind of like Miss Zoo, I guess. And I guess these are pictures of our characters or something. There's a young guy, nothing really special about him, and then a young girl. I'd say like mid to late teens, it looks like, with short hair, pixie cut. But yeah, as for the art book, you do not want to go through this first because it contains a lot of spoilers. They flat out tell you on the first page that your MC is actually Masamune Kujo. They mention that he is not as powerful as Saya when it comes to the whole spirit mystics thing. They go ahead and spoil everything about Mary on the second page. Then they have various things about the other characters. They reveal ages and stuff. Like, I didn't really peg the main character for being like 35 to 45. They mention that Moe is attracted to the main character because she likes older guys. They mention Christy is supposed to be blacklisted from all of the industries she's involved in because of how she has affairs with her co-workers, bosses, and the like. They mention that Eita was supposed to be a pedophile, but they had to tone him down, which is why Christy acts the way she does around him. As for they mentioned they wanted to do different things with her, but it just didn't come together or something. I don't know if it's a time period thing or what have you. Daimon is supposed to be 44. He was supposed to be some sort of like underworld doctor, not a proper doctor. And then Madoka Hiro was supposed to be basically just as crazy as Zukawa. I guess the two of them were supposed to have like a race of sorts, and since Zukawa won, she became the spirit instead of Madoka. Banshee is like they hint that there's more to him than meets the eye, so he'd probably make an appearance in the sequel. His age is 66. Yasuoka is aged at 71, which I thought she looked old, but not that old. They mentioned that they went through a bunch of different names for her. She got in a fight with the previous head Murasame over money or something along those lines. They have a little bit about Daisuke, which is the cop who dies, or the guard who dies in the first chapter, as well as Masao Kimura, who dies in the second chapter. He's the dude on the park bench that Shimio gets. And that's basically a summary of everything you'll find in the art book. Overall, it's a neat little thing. It's a tiny book, but hopefully you just, like, if you had the art book, hopefully you do not go into this before playing the game, because they literally spoil everything on the first 2 pages. But the reason why I'm including this, like I said, is I don't know if there's a way for the digital owners, or even those who are just casually viewing this, to know Mary's story, and it's actually in the book, not the game for some reason. That may change in NG, but I'm not paying attention to its development, so I can't say for certain. I can't make you guys any promises. Whether or not she makes an appearance in that, we will have to wait and see. But with that, I am out for real this time. We are done with Deathmark, and I'll see you guys in my next project.